We're now joined by political analyst, Professor Dirk Kotze, and he joins us now via our video link. Professor, thank you so much for your time this evening here in SABC News. I mean, for years we have seen Mr. Herman Mashaba saying that he will never work with the ANC, but it seems as if he has now changed his stance. Why do you think that is so?
Unfortunately, it's not very clear of why he did that. The fact that he is in opposition was very much his choice. He could have joined the government of national unity also, because there's other smaller parties than ActionSA that actually became part of it. So there was a deliberate decision by ActionSA after the election that they will not join the national government. I think what has become now a different ballgame or different dynamics is the fact that the ANC has indicated quite clearly that they want to move away from the EFF in the Gauteng metros, and specifically Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni. In the case of Johannesburg, the ANC, together with ActionSA and maybe one other small party like Al-Jama, can on their own form a majority government or a majority of a coalition government. And I think that makes it very attractive for ActionSA that they will be able to play quite a prominent role in Johannesburg. We know that Mr. Herman Mashaba has been the mayor of Johannesburg, and I think he sees himself as that's really the heart or the core of ActionSA, where they can possibly make a difference. That's also where most of their election support came from. So I think this is, in a sense, he moves away from that very strong principle of not want to work with the ANC at all to becoming much more pragmatic. Whether this will be acceptable to the public in general, we will have to see. It's very difficult to predict that.
And I mean, it takes me back to some of the polls that the party ran, asking its members or its supporters whether it should be working with the ANC or not. But at the same time, we do know that the ActionSA party, as well as the DA, they've had a very rocky relationship when it comes to the two parties together. You've also heard there Herman Mashaba saying that he feels betrayed by the likes of the DA. What do you make of their relationship now, especially that we see that this moonshot pact does not really exist?
Yes, well, all the alliances dissolved at the end of the election. That's also on the side of what is referred to as the progressive caucus, because, for example, the UDM is now part of the government of national unity, and then on the side of the multi-party charter, the DA, the IFP, and some other groups are also part of the national government or the government of national unity. So those formations that were formed or alliances before the election were to a large extent dissolved after the election, in effect, whether they took a decision to that effect or not. And I think this is where they stand now. In the case of, I would say, the ActionSA, I think they have reconsidered their position after the government of national unity was formed, and the fact that there seems so much positivism, optimism about the government of national unity, and I think they are just very scared that they are going to miss this opportunity of being completely in opposition. However, there's one exception to this, and that is Tshwane Metro.
Yeah.
Where the deputy mayor of Tshwane, it comes from the ActionSA. So in Tshwane, the mayor is from the DA, the deputy mayor is from ActionSA. They appear to be working together. There has always been strains and differences between the parties, but that is to a large extent can be accommodated in coalitions. And that is what we are seeing in Tshwane specifically. So it's not one rule applies to everywhere.
And I was about to come to, the issues around Tshwane and the city of Johannesburg. I mean, it's quite clear that with this newly formed relationship, I mean, the likes of the Sunday Times even going as far as reporting that we can expect the removal of Kabelo Gwamanda because of this new relationship being formed with ActionSA as well as the ANC. Do you think that the likes of, Silius Brink in the city of Tshwane is safe you know, now that these two parties are finding each other?
Well, there's lots of reports that it might not be the case in the case of Tshwane with the mayors here Brink. But no, the one thing we should never forget now is that the dynamics are not, we should not look at it in isolation. At the national level, the ANC and the DA are working very closely together in the government of national unity. So to go to a metro like Tshwane, and the ANC is the cause for the demise of a DA mayor will be very much contradictory. So I think one has to be careful. There's these discussions that are taking place within the ANC. The ANC is exceptionally hurt by the fact that they've lost the leading position in Tshwane. And I think there are therefore at local level quite a lot of motivation in order to try to remove the DA from the governing position in Tshwane. There's incidentally going to be a by-election in the ward where I'm living in Tshwane, and that can make a difference because this coalition of the DA has only a majority of one vote or seat, and if that is going to change, then the ballgame is going to change also. So it will be exceptionally interesting to see what is the situation if it becomes unstable in Tshwane, and to what extent the ANC at the national level is going to intervene, because they've made the point in the past that this government of national unity concept is not limited to the national sphere of government. It also has an impact on the provincial, and we know there's 2 provinces at least that are directly affected by it, and even at local government level. We've seen it in KwaZulu-Natal, where some of the changes were made in order to accommodate the National Freedom Party there, for example.
And Prof, let's deal with other political matters. I mean, last week we were supposed to see former President Jacob Zuma appear before the disciplinary committee of the ANC. We know that it will now be taking place this week. It will be taking place on Tuesday. What are your expectations of that disciplinary hearing?
Well, President Zuma already indicated that he is not satisfied with the format it will take, and that's that it will be online. He wants to be personally present in the Tuli House when it happens. He had appointed Tony Ngeni as his representative. I think it's highly unlikely that the proceedings will actually continue on Tuesday. I think they will try their utmost best, that's now President Zuma and his legal team, in order to make it, to force the ANC to accept the different format where he is personally present. And so I will be really surprised if the proceedings will continue on Tuesday. There is the option that if President Zuma don't want to participate or cooperate, that ultimately the proceedings can continue without him, but that will undermine the legitimacy and the credibility of such a procedure. So I think it's not yet clear that we are going to see a completion of this process very soon and ultimately a decision. So I think there's still a lot that will happen before that.